Hello, welcome. We won't say have a nice evening or morning or night because we are all in different time zones. And this is something very uh, crucial for the diversity of our program. We are very happy to host you here. It is one of the two meetings that we will be doing. Actually, it is until the beginning of our conference, of the encounters, in order to introduce you to what we are doing in Prespa. I think that you all have the call. Hopefully you have seen the website of the program of WALC and local communities, and hopefully also the site of the conference. And we also like to thank Andrew and WLC for the hard effort that they put in order to have this cafe being realized, and generally speaking, to keep the momentum of what they do. What happens is that now we are a few days, actually until the 18th of February, before the end of the submission period. It is our fourth encounters. It has been created a number of four times actually, and this is going to be the fourth, and we will have at least another one, the fifth in 2027 and 27. It is important to say that for at least for the way we envisioned it, that in Prespa is that in Prespa we create a place where we are there, we work there. We are not a part of the community. We are the local community here, working here for more than 20 years. Some of us also come from this area of Western Macedonia. And eventually, after many years and a lot of work, and of course, with the participation and contribution of hundreds who have joined us, there has been created a nucleus of free exchange of thoughts, of practices around walking, and of what walking and the body can possibly mean. You know, in the times that we live, this concept of freedom is coming back and back again. We thought that it was somehow granted, but nothing is for granted. We always have to strive. We always have to struggle even for things that somehow they were taken for, we thought that they were for granted. So starting from Prespa, then for the whole consortium of the WALC project, and of course with all of you who join us, we want to create, and we have already established this place that for a week, as we definitely think that for a week, as it has happened all the previous times, it will bring together minds, practices, people who will be part of this exchange. Practically speaking, now we will have the 18th of February, where you will have to, if those who are interested, to submit a paper or a workshop or a paper, or participate in nodes. And for the nodes, it is a little bit afterwards. Geert will speak for the nodes more. And then gradually, we will move to a process of where the committee will meet. We have to thank the members of the committee who will be somehow, it is not an evaluation process, but it is more like if what is presented is bringing something to the walking art practice. We are not using a selection process based on what is, so to say, called merit. On the contrary, we are open that this is what makes encounters, and this is something that is going on for all these years. And then we will announce, of course, we will notify those who want to come, who have been accepted. Those who want to come, of course, they can register. And then we will meet for one more time, and maybe even more if it is needed, in order to create this great, very interesting for us event, which is a point of return. I have to, today we will have, the way we will do it is that Geert and myself, I'm almost finished now, we will introduce the process of the encounters and some general things about the concept, because we have already elaborated on that before. Then we will have Aspasia Voudouri, who is the coordinator of the organizing committee, who will say things that are related to the way this thing will be implemented. You can imagine that it is it is a meeting where more than 200 people will be coming, maybe more. The place of Prespa is also becoming a part of that. And Aspasia will be responsible for putting on that together. Then we have invited, and thanks for accepting that and being with us, Molly Weigeder and Anastasia Polychronidou, who have already been in Prespa and who are planning to come back. So it is interesting for us also, and for everybody, I think, to hear how people who have already been and want to come, what are is their reaction to what is happening in Prespa. And then we will have two dear colleagues from Prespa, Nikos Giannakis and Thomas Manouris, with different backgrounds, but living in Prespa, being residents of Prespa. And in that way, we believe that we will have an overview of what is going to happen. Then, of course, we can discuss and have answer to questions, discuss about the discourse, and whatever is important for you, for us also to learn, from formal things to things that are related also to the concept of and the momentum of what we do. Again, thank Andrew for putting that together. We know how much hard work it is needed. And thank you all for being here. And I welcome you to Prespa. And Geert can continue after me.
Thank you, Yannis, for throwing the ball into the game. We first of all thank you for being here so numerous on this call. And as Yannis already said, the Prespa Walking Arts Encounters was from the beginning a group effort carried by a large local community, students, volunteers, an amazing organizing committee, and a group of people from various backgrounds, disciplines that bring their inspiration, ideas, and visions to Prespa, and take even more visions, inspirations, and ideas back when they leave Prespa. This year, we have Herman Bacheran, Mendelocchio, Jess Hastings, Lydia Matthews, Claire Kwalman, Clara Gary, Sylvie Marchand, Miguel Bandera Duarte, and Faye Tsanitulaku, joining us in the Artistic Scientific Committee, which you will meet them in Prespa together with all the other amazing people that's with so much heart and the personal effort are making Prespa happen. Now, this edition, we bring Prespa in the larger framework of a European project, which is called the Project WALC, bringing partners from various countries in Europe together, mirroring the Lake Prespa into an European territory. And this is becoming a network, and so in the virtual space, but as well in the physical space, by establishing an international center for walking arts, research for walking arts in Prespa, based on the experience we all share and the ideas and practices we develop together with you in the Prespa area. And for that, we also have we also invite others, collective groups, this interested organizations, like-minded initiatives across Europe and the world to join us in this effort, virtually and physically in Prespa. And for that, we have just a week ago, we have launched a call for notes. I will not go into that because we will talk mainly about Prespa today. I have shared this call into the chat, so feel free to look at it on a later moment and to share it with all initiatives that or collectives or groups that may be interested in joining our work around walking arts. As you have read in the call, and what this evening wants to be, or this moment in the day wants to be for you, is inspiring you. 2 weeks, only 2 weeks before the deadline will happen. But like it is always said, in the last days, the inspiration even becomes higher. So we hope that this evening will bring you some new ideas and will give you the desire to send in your proposal. The theme, the topic, let's say the overarching topic in this multiverse that Prespa is walking home, walking in transition. So once more, we invite walking artists and walking art as a space where multiple worlds coexist in movement rather than in a single dominant and static reality. In Prespa, we invite for walking as an act of engagement with the land, with the territory, its stories, and becoming a method for navigating and revealing plural ways of knowing and being, always in movement. As always, walking arts challenges dominant maps and ways of understanding space. So we invite you to unmap geographies and remap the territory of Prespa together and to the eyes of its local communities, its oral histories, its local experiences, and alternative ways to relating to this inspiring land that Prespa is. Together, being a very important natural space and territory, you cannot separate walking in Prespa from a more than human and multi-species walking, not only embracing human realities, but also the perspectives of the lake, its animals, its plants, its spirits, and engaging with its more than human voices. Being an embodied practice that honors situated knowledge and fostering an active relationality, the Prespa territory, its history and ancestors, its social struggles, and alternative ways of beings relates us with its community of today. And that is specifically what we want to invite you for. To become the community of Prespa with the people that live there through your walking together. Again, walking in transition, it may be an invitation even more relevant today for acknowledging multiple coexisting ontologies. Some places are not just locations, but also memory sites, landscapes of natural value, sacred lands, or mythical terrains. And this is particularly true for Prespa, where walking arts reveal these layered worlds and by engaging with its oral traditions, speculative futures, and hidden stories that are manifold embedded in the Prespa landscape. So many indigenous, ancestral, and cosmovisional traditions Walking is not just a movement through space, but also through time and dimensions. And this is at the heart of walking in transition that we want to invite you in Prespa to. As a practice of crossing between realities, between dream and wakefulness, memory and present, and human and non-human realms. Listening today to the many voices of Prespa that we will hear now, we hope that this evening and this moment will inspire you, and we look forward to the walks and ideas that will emerge from it.
And we will pass now the floor to Aspasia Voudouri. Aspasia Voudouri is the coordinator of the organizing committee, but we have to say that one of the great assets of what we have created in Prespa is that it has become a place of research and return for many people, and Aspasia is definitely one of them. Our decision to make her the director of the organizing committee, the coordinator of the organizing committee, comes from the fact that she has a PhD. Her PhD is in Prespa, and the way the Prespa Lake can function as a unifying artistic, initiating artistic bonds between the three countries. And she has thoroughly studied and traveled in the area. And of course, she has participated with organizing duties in all these three previous implementations. What I want to say is that, and I see many of us here, somehow we grow along with what we do here. And Aspasia, thank you very much for accepting your that duty. And please let us know about your experience and, of course, what informations and anything that you think will be important for your contribution to this year's encounters.
Thank you very much, especially Mr. Ziogas, for this opportunity to present my research, a few things from my research. But the main point is that in this cafe, the most of the people should know that Prespa, the area, is the first transboundary park that is between Greece, Albania, and Northern Macedonia from February 2000. And after 7 years, Mr. Ziogas started the visual Mars, as I know. I wasn't there, I wasn't so fortunate, but I think that I'm very lucky that I follow the last 7 years this idea. This area is very interesting because it combines religious and historical monuments like Byzantine churches in Agios Germanos and in Agios Achilleos, and the memories of the Macedonian struggle in another community of the village of Kotas, and monuments of the civil war in Pili and Antarctico. And if you visit this region, you will have the opportunity to travel around. There are 2 near, and they are very friendly and familiar. These local communities in this region are surrounded by biotopes and ecological aquatic ecosystem. This is another interesting point. So this rural environment has also hospitality and traditional food. But that something is interesting for working artists and artists generally, I must say, is that the impact of all the activities is very, very important for the local community. As we understood, from 2019, 2001, and 2003, the three other international encounters, meetings, and conferences that took part in this place, the local community sees visitors as an important part of the area's youth's professional development. And this is very, very interesting. Another point is that you can have inspiration and creation at the same time. And you can work with people that are artists and then they are participants. This is a very nice experience. Following all the natural and physical territory, there are a lot of tangible and intangible elements for creations. They are available up there, like the map, the earth, the plants, the animals, the lake, the water of the lake, the local delicacies you can taste. And concentrating to the organizing committee, I'm very proud that I can join this for third time as a member. And I would like to say that is a dedicated and dynamic team of the University of the Western Macedonia, responsible for overseeing the artistic engagements in Prespa. We are interested to welcome you, to be happy, to help. We are, and the duties of the committee is to coordinating communications, overseeing field activities, documenting and editing video, images, audio materials, collect all of them, make archives of the artistic workshops and workshops. This is a very, very big project that is well organized, and it's important to say that there are 16 persons that joined the organizing committee and approximately 10 to 15 students or volunteers who helped. There are specialists in video art, there are specialists in graphic design. We have persons that are ready to help you in the secretary desk. And of course, whatever you want, you can you can send them an email and we will help all of you. I think that there are a lot of things that we can discuss. So thank you very much, and Mr. Andrew too, for the opportunity to present these small things. And I don't know if there are any other persons from the committee now with us. Okay, so we have to continue, and everything is written in the submission. We'd be glad to welcome you in Prespa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aspasia. At the end of there will be, you can ask questions and you can write them on the chat, and we will discuss about them.
Thank you.
So after introducing the conceptual and the organizing part of Prespa, we are welcoming Molly, who is, thank you for being here at 5 o'clock in the morning.
It's a pleasure.
And so nice to see you.
Lovely to see you too. Should I share?
With Molly, we walked in 2023, and she's planning to come in 2025.
Okay, should I just share my screen now?
Yes, I think you can. Let me see. Yes.
There we go. Okay, yes. So I first stumbled into these European walking art conferences online while sitting here in Sydney, wondering where all the other walking artists were, because I had been introduced to this concept, this way of working in 2015 while I was studying at the National Art School. And here in Australia, it was like, where is everybody? And then, of course, I found the Walking Art and Relational Geographies Conference and I sent an email in 2020, and then COVID hit. So it was, things just all got delayed. So I had found the Prespa conference and was so intrigued. I found your journal online with the interartive publication. I think I downloaded almost every article and devoured them. And then when the conference in Girona came up, I applied and was accepted to speak there. And I have to say, attending that conference and then the subsequent conferences, my personal life, my life as an artist has just exploded. It's just been transformational. And it's just so remarkable to be with a whole group of people who love walking art. And it really has just been surprising. So after Girona, I then went to Prespa, where I had presented in Girona. So I was very anxious, very nervous. I hadn't traveled to Europe as an adult by myself ever before. So it was like that trip was so fraught with first times and anxieties. So when I went to Prespa, I decided to just go and be an enthusiastic participant in as many walkshops and workshops as I could. And it was, I'm tranced with the place. I just fell in love with it. And I was able to meet Anne and Viv in Thessaloniki, and we drove together out to Prespa. And like my friendships with those I'd met in Girona were, I guess, solidified or enhanced. And as soon as the Prespa conference for this year was up, I said yes and have booked my flights already. So yes, and I will say from Prespa, I was really surprised to find there were 4 other Australians at the conference. And it was like, oh, and I approached all of them and said, hey, what do you think about a group in Australia? And they all said, sure. So from that conference, when we got back to Australia, between the networks of the artists there, that was Dan Coop, Amy Tsilomanis, Mick Douglas, and Amara, and I can't remember her surname, unfortunately. Between our networks and Andrew's help with e-introductions from the Walk, Listen, Create database, we were able to have our first online meeting of what has now become Australian Walking Artists Incorporated, yay, recent development, in September 2023. And we have since gone on to become a group, like a thing, an organization. And so for the conference in Girona, it wasn't just me. There were other artists from the Australian Walking Artists, which you can see in this picture up here with Ainsley, Dan, and Bruce, and myself. And I was able to share a bit with the wider European community about the growth and development of the Australian Walking Artists. And it's just, I just have, I don't know, I'm a bit wordless. I was writing this morning about it. It's just so wonderful to be part of this bigger community and, not sit here by myself, because there's often that question, do you walk alone or do you walk together? And having done both, the walking together with all of you has just been a remarkable experience. And I'm so looking forward to Prespa. I can't wait to come. And that's the end of my little slideshow. So I can stop sharing.
Thanks, Molly. Thanks for this motivating way of presenting Prespa. And we go to Anastasia Polychronidou. Anastasia is a Greek artist who has been with us already twice, working with the space, especially as much urban as the space of Prespa can be in Sarades. And please share with us your experiences, Anastasia.
Thank you. Hello. Welcome all. Thank you, Yannis and Geert, Andrew, of course, for organizing this this meeting. I'm very happy that I see familiar faces. And also, I would like to welcome all of you who are thinking of joining this year's festival. So yes, my name is Anastasia Polychronidou. I'm a dramaturg and a researcher and artist, if I may say. And as Yannis mentioned, I've been to Prespa twice. I joined the festival in 2021 and 2023 with two different, quite different walking projects. The one was more relating to walking as dancing, and the second one was it was reflecting on the social and political aspects of walking. So to briefly talk about my personal experience at this festival with you people who joined before, and well, I have to say that I think I had the opportunity first to engage deeply and with the landscape. I mean, Prespa, it's a quite amazing place to visit, and so you know, engaging with the landscape, engaging with the local community of people who live there the whole time, and not only just to expand your knowledge or research or thinking on walking art per se, but also to think deeper about movement, about walking movement through space. It's a festival about observing. I think it's a festival about open-mindedness and dialogue with both the seen and unseen forces that shape our surroundings. So even a couple hours before I was about to join this Zoom meeting, I thought that I've been there twice, but I had this feeling that this thinking that every time was a different time. I found myself reinterpreting the concept of place, of walking movement, and experiencing an awareness, a different kind of awareness every time, of the connections between body, between memory, and landscape, of course. And I think this is the festival's unique format, is that it encourages artists and researchers to embrace walking as both a physical and metaphorical journey. And you know, in a place where artistic and research creation meets exploring and storytelling. And I think that the most fascinating thing it's the encounters. It's the encounters among all these creators, artists, and researchers who come together. And it's the national festival. It's not a local one. It's a big thing. It's about the encounters and the discussions and the shared experiences with all the fellow participants. And I think that this is what it creates a very dynamic space for exchange, and inspiring new perspectives on everyone's work. So yes, I also learned, and I also saw the open call, and I know that this year's theme, it's a beautiful one. It's walking home and walking in transition, and I'm very, very excited again to be there with all of you, and also just thinking briefly, this concept of walking home, walking in transition. I'm very excited as well to explore how walking can embody notions of belonging, of transformation, and displacement. So I think that home, I mean, walking home, I think that home is not just a physical location. I think also it is a state of being. It's an evolving and ongoing relationship with place and identity and movement. And on the other hand, I also see that walking in transition, it speaks to these constant shifts we experience in our personal and collective journeys. So I'm really looking forward for my participation these years and I do envision a project that delves into these ideas of mobility and rudeness, flux and permanence, and so on and so on. So yeah, for those of you who are walking artists, or you are in this process of thinking about walking artistically and researching ideas about walking art, because it is an art, I think that it's a very profoundly idea. It's a very beautiful and unique opportunity to visit Prespa and the festival for a week that flows by so quickly that yeah, it's an amazing thing, and I think that it will give you many tools to reinforce your ideas on walking, both as an artistic tool and as a research method. So yeah, that's my brief discussion about my experiences back in Prespa. Thank you so much, and we're here to elaborate more if you want.
Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we will have Nikos and Thomas, Nikos is a biologist, and he lives in Prespa for a number of years. How many, Nikos? 25? Anyway, we don't want to say, but
you're rushing things forward, Yanni.
Okay. Now she's
15.
She's rooted in Prespa. Don't hide years, because we all know the truth.
Look, the more years you give me, the more time I'm going to take to talk to you.
So Nikos is totally, how to say, he has become one with Prespa, both not only through his scientific work, but also being a very thorough activist for whatever is destroying the environment, not only in Prespa, but in Greece and, of course, in other places of the world in Europe, being very active in all levels for against the windmills and against other decisions that the authorities are making and destroying the environment. And we have been with Nikos and his wife, Angela, for a number of years. We have not walked together yet, but we have searched places, sometimes, yes. But we have to ride the horses together next time, okay? Welcome, Nikos.
Well, thank you very much, Yannis, for this introduction. Thank you, everybody, for having me here, to give me the opportunity to meet you. It's really wonderful to be able to communicate with the world from our village here, where we are the only inhabitants, still managing to be here in Prespa. So, good evening, of course, good afternoon or morning. It's the wonders of the world. And I would like to take you to a brief journey to the wonderful world of Prespa via a series of pictures showing its landscapes. And I hope that this presentation, let me share my screen before I forget. We're talking about, I hope that this slideshow will reveal, in fact, why Prespa could be anybody's favorite place to live in, because it's a really wonderful place, as people have said before. Now, Lakes Mikri and Megali Prespa are characterized as landscapes of outstanding natural beauty. They have a high aesthetic value as a whole. The area of Prespa has an aesthetic value as a whole and derives from unique natural values that present an impressive variety of features and contrasts, combined with a rich cultural history of memories with findings from ancient and modern times. The beauty of the Prespan architecture, as in all places, corresponds to the beauty of the handmade stone and brick constructions that are characterized by imperfection, irregularity, lack of rhythm, deviation, all expressing the creativity of their creators. The architecture of Prespa tells the story of a society that was lost after the end of the Civil War, with buildings made by common people who materialized their daily needs and dreams in an artistic, simple, and perceptible way. Prespa, despite its limited size, presents a rare wealth of natural elements surrounding the plateau and basins of the two lakes. We have slopes, we have flat, gentle, undulating and steep plains, mountainous terrains, cliffs, rock outcrops, ridges, hills, mountains, streams, rivers, estuaries, ravines, valleys wide and narrow, coasts and rocks. We have distant panoramic views in Prespa that alternate with enclosed landscapes, corridors, and intermittent views, boundaries that are sometimes open and sometimes limited. Textures are mild to rough. They're monochrome or colorful images depending on the season. The landscapes are active or peaceful, a whole that manages to remain largely undisturbed. And they're able to maintain a unique, for Greek standards, wilderness. It's a characteristic of Prespa, this wilderness. Land cover outside residential zones is rich. There are seasonal swamps, grasslands, reed beds, rushes, chasmophytic vegetation, wet meadows, pastures, mountain meadows of various types. There are dense, scattered forests, both deciduous and coniferous, mixed, riparian and lakeside forests. There's scrub, marshes, beaches, irrigated and non-irrigated croplands, orchards, hedgerows, forming rich ecosystems with a wide variety of plant and animal species that are common and endangered, very often rare or even endemic to Prespa. Is the show following my words? Is it okay? Okay. Now, the characteristics of the landscapes vary depending on the geological composition of the soil, orientation, and human activity, and betray the evolution of life in this small place. The interdependence of different soil types and habitats with the geological background and the natural landscape is important. Prespa presents intense geodiversity since geotopes are observed that represent interesting moments of geological history and that bear witness of Prespa's long evolution. The Dolines of Varba on Mount Riclario remain unexplored in an area that hosts a rare biodiversity and presents unique hydrogeological features. Prespa is a rare gathering place. In recent years, man-made landscape has deteriorated the most as settlements after 1949, due to the Civil War and a sharp decrease in the population, lost their original residential structure, while a large percentage of traditional buildings collapsed and can still be seen falling apart in our days. Traditionally, the inhabitants of the wider area of Prespa were engaged in fishing, livestock farming and forestry. In their small agricultural plots, people cultivated wheat, barley, corn and legumes. The plain was full of walnut trees, cherries, apples, quinces, crimsons and other fruit trees mixed with wild forest trees such as oaks, alders, cedars, poplars and willows. There were hedges of bushes everywhere, full of wild roses, elderberry and loquat. In effect, the plain was an excellent example of what we refer to today as an edible forest. In mountain villages, sunny slopes were organized on terraces for the cultivation of cold-resistant rye. Organized in a self-sufficient patriarchal society, every family in Old Prespa bred buffaloes, small breed oxen and cows, horses, mules, donkeys, pigs, sheep, goats, geese, chickens and beehives of all sorts. Buffalo and cows grazed mainly in flooded lakeside meadows and reed beds, and the Vlach population, which later settled in the area after the Civil War, was mainly engaged in sheep and goat farming, a characteristic element of the local traditional architecture and the stone-built pens with roofs from the reed of the lake and rice straw, a rural tradition that is still preserved in the mountain pens of Vrondero. In 1965, with the land consolidation and the gradual construction of land reclamation works and the irrigation network in the lake basin, the rural landscape of Prespa changed drastically. Thousands of trees and hedgerows were wiped out. The rivers, which flowed freely by meandering and joined with Lake Micro-Prespa, were aligned within artificial embankments and wet meadows were lost. In 1984, another unfortunate development choice was made for Prespa with the implementation of an ill-designed pilot development program. The centuries-old forest of Selcha, for example, was destroyed and thousands of trees were cut down in the riverbeds and the drainage canals of the agricultural zones, within the framework of the integrated Mediterranean programs and the financing of the European Community. Today, the dominant crop of Prespa is beans, known for their unique texture and tastes. Beans are cultivated intensively in the rural zones around the two lakes. The intensification of bean monoculture has unfortunately gradually degraded the naturalness of the area. The landscape has begun to lose its variety and its complexity and to become uniform. And regarding the built environment, to push forward a little bit, settlements that today maintain their traditional character are Agios Germanos, with its remarkable traditional buildings that you may find here, made of stone and raw bricks, and have various morphological types. Psarades, the area that hosts the meeting, are declared as a traditional settlement, just like Agios Germanos is another interesting, still sort of interesting architecturally village. Now, the abandoned village of Milionos, of course, which is our village, with its characteristic variety of raw brick houses, is a third case. This is the village that I was saying to Yannis has been our home for the last 15 years. Now, an unfortunate recent turn of events has been a fierce energy sprawl threatening to take over the unique landscapes of Prespa and its wider area. There are renewable energy sources of all kinds, mainly wind farms and solar panel constructions that are designed and implemented on hitherto undisturbed ridges and mountain slopes. This is the main problem, yes? A large wind power plant in Varnundas already exists and has been operating for years, while similar large-scale projects are planned and constructed on the tops of Mount Vitsi, Malimadi and Varba in the surrounding area. Mountain peaks semantically exist as representation, as imagination, as memory, as aesthetic value or symbolism for both locals and visitors. The landscape is a collective memory that is passed from generation to generation, is a collective good and a capital that belongs to all, that should not be appropriated. For the visitor, Prespa is identified with its landscape. The landscape reflects ecosystem health and rich biodiversity and is a direct reading. The human journey and how it shaped the landscape historically, one needs to devote more time to discover and interpret. Well, thank you for this. To finish, I'd like to add just one little small final statement that we have a transboundary watershed here in Prespa, which is an ideal stage for practicing, for implementing water cycle restoration to heal the earth and the climate of the whole region via techniques and practices that are the well-known practices of permaculture to the benefit of the local economy, of course. And an example of that is holistic management, holistic grazing management, if you have heard about it. And I have to say that I strongly believe, have come to believe through the experience of recent years, that the international walking arts gatherings can contribute to Prespa's transition to a regenerative future. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Nikos, for this introduction from all your experience that you have from the landscape and from the various aspects of revealing what lies behind the beauty of the landscape and what is somehow the undermining story, the stories that are behind all this. So Thomas is someone who is from Prespa. He was born in Prespa, and he grew up there as a young boy, and eventually he studied. He went, in Greece we have obligatory military service, but then he returned to Prespa, and now he's most of you who have been in Prespa have met him. So we think that it will be a very nice, because we are part of that, and we talk about local communities. And Nikos and Thomas, in different ways, they represent these local communities of Prespa. Thomas?
Hello.
Hi, Thomas. Welcome.
Hey, everyone.
Are you in Prespa, Thomas? Obviously.
No, I'm in Ioannina.
Okay.
I'm sharing my life between of Prespa and Ioannina.
Okay. So we would like to talk to us about your experience of us being there, working together, and your experience of Prespa in general.
Okay, first of all, I want to say thank you for the invitation, Mr. Yannis. I'm Thomas, I'm 29 years old, studying material of engineering in Ioannina, but I chose to come back to Prespa. I'm from Sarades, from a small village. Third generation, I have a boat. I'm organizing boat tours. I have a local restaurant, and I'm very happy for this project because it was something different for us. People from other countries with speaking other language bring us fresh air. What can I say? They bring life to our small community. So it was something different for us. It was something special, and I show people from old people to want to help, to learn about the art, and I think Prespa is one of the best places in Greece for this project. This is my opinion. I want to say thank you.
We have to say that Thomas is one of the persons who are part of that, and we are there as a community, and we are sharing what is the weddings, the funerals. Recently there was a tragic accident anyway, And this is what make the communities, is faring as a common ground and a common life. So I think that we have concluded as far as the speakers. Now we are a little bit past our time, but I think that all the people talked to the point, and it was important, and for us and for those who have been here for the first time. Geert?
Yes. So we still have some time for your experiences or your comments or feedback or questions if you may have. Some people are new here, so other people have already walked Prespa thoroughly. The floor is yours if you want to.
Yes, hello. I want to say something.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm in touch all this hour hearing of you about your experiences from Prespa. And I was a student in Fine Arts Department of Florida. And 2017 was the first time for me to visit the Prespa. So I was there every summer in other projects. And now I see this community from people from all over the world. It is very touching that they gather every 2 years since Prespa, and all these projects have this international impact. So I'm very glad, and I want to share this from with you. And this year I will be there with a project with children, working children, and I'll be glad to meeting some people of you there. But this is what I would like to share. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Kiki. Now we are in the chat. Anne-Marie is asking, could you tell us a bit about how the week is structured? Lectures, walks, different locations, how we get around to see everything. Aspasia, do you want to answer for that?
I will try. We don't have the final program, so we don't know what's exactly day by day all the activities. But the activities last 3 or 4 days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Saturday and on Sunday, we have the conference. So we maybe on Friday we should have activities, and we finalize all the continuous ones. We'll have the conclusions. But when the artistic committee will give us the program, we can have more details. If you write down your email, we can send all the details. Of course, you can have also a project, a workshop, or you can have a lecture, a paper one for the last day. This is generally the schedule. I don't know if you want something more.
I have to, let me add a few things. I mean, we will see every time we find different ways of doing that. But generally, that was how in the previous years it was done. So as far as the timeline, as far as now the location, the workshops are taking place in different locations. So there is a program for every day. Sometimes, in most of the times, there are 2 or 3 workshops taking place at the same time, and people choose, they register. the number of those who can attend the workshops depends on, first of all, on the artist that he or he asks. Requires someone might want to have, let's say, 10 people, up to 10 people, up to 15 people. So there is a limit there. And also, according to the needs of the project, of course, someone might ask to have his project, her project at night, in the morning, or sometime during the day. So there is a schedule that we try to keep, of course, because some of the workshops, you know, they take a little bit longer, and there is somehow we try to leave some time in between so that there is time to catch up. Now, the way also people are moving in different locations, in the previous years, it was done by having a carpool, let's say. So there were cars that were shared. This time we will try to introduce also a bus that will be circulating around Prespa in different times of the day, so that people can move more, can have that option as well. Prespa, in Prespa, the distances, and also in our project, in our site, we will have maps of 10 areas of Prespa, because we will try to spread the implementation of the workshops in different locations of Prespa, and not only in the more central, let's say, or the more, the ones that are more archetypical, let's say, like the St. Achilles island. So this is more or less, I think that, Anne-Marie, if you want to ask something more, we can also, will you offer some advice about how one travels to Prespa? Yes. To Prespa, want to travel when traveling by airport. The closest international airport is in Thessaloniki. So people arrive in Thessaloniki, and from Thessaloniki there are two options. The one option is to rent a car, and or we coordinate also sometimes if people the same day they travel from Thessaloniki to Prespa to take you, to share the car with them, or you can take the bus to Florina or to Castoria, and from there we always find a way to take you to Prespa, because from Thessaloniki to Florina or to Castoria it is about 2 hours and a half to 2 hours and 45 minutes. And from Florina to Prespa, or from Castoria to Prespa, which are the closest cities, is another hour. So this is more or less how one gets to Prespa.
Yanni,
Yes.
could I add something that is
Yes, please.
that may, especially if there are groups of people coming together, if one arrives to Thessaloniki, to the airport, it is possible to have ordered a taxi from Castoria to bring you at least to Castoria, and from there to be collected by other means, or to continue via taxi. And it's a very, very cheap, because they have the taxis in Castoria. They've made this sort of like a cooperative where they charge very little, but they take 3 people in every taxi, in every cab. So it's around 25 euros to go from the airport of Thessaloniki to Castoria, which is quite reasonable.
Very reasonable. We talk about a distance of 300 kilometers.
So it's that's the sort of typical cost. Anyway, if people want to know, they can.
Yes, what will happen is that you know, we always find ways that are reliable, so to say, and we have never had an issue because we are very experienced. And this is also part of what we do in Prespa, you know, to make something that looks out of the main tourist venues, somehow called remote. But what is remoteness after all? Now I was to go, Lydia knows about Sifnos, let's say. I was to go to Sifnos now, and now there is no, this weekend, but now there is no boat because of the weather. Anyway, that's the great challenge of places.
Mr.
Now,
And there is another question, Mr. Ziogas, about the project, if we can last several days. I think this is something you may answer.
Yes, I think that as we will consider that. It is not like we have to, but we have to, yes, we will find a solution for that as well. If the committee thinks that it is an interesting project, what do you think, Geert? Is it not the way we approach that?
Absolutely. There is, although we put a limit in duration, we are open for projects or proposals that have a coherent the vision about having needing a longer period or being durational all over the week at certain moments. This can be considered, although we don't want to overcharge the program in the day, and then we would like to divide as much as possible morning, afternoon. It can be quite hot between noon and late afternoon and evening. So we do embrace proposals that are for the early morning and for the evening. No solution can be to divide your project over various slots in these times over the week. So as long you have a coherent project that justifies the time that you need, we can consider.
Okay, thank you, Geert. The next question is by Jeffrey, who asks, how did Prespa become the focus of WALC, mindful of environment, over environmental, cultural attributes, etc.? Why Prespa? Prespa was a place that 20 years ago, almost in 2006, there was an initiative that started. There are articles that in Interactive magazine that you can read. I write it down, Interactive, where I describe how this thing has been involved. So it started to be involved as part of my art research and being also a part of a faculty in a public university. And it was, in the beginning, it was working in a period of 2 or 3 days, and eventually it grew up and it became what it is. So it is not, it is not like in Prespa, it is like where we are and where we work. It is not because somehow we found it in the way, so to say. We were there when we grew up, and somehow we invite everyone, those who wish, of course, to share a laboratory and see how this this initiative has worked. And if they can share it in other places like Moli, for instance, and so on. Of course, in that process, all these cultural, environmental issues, and many more were found.
Now, to add to that, Prespa is actually a tip of an iceberg. It was the place where the various partners, the European partners from Portugal, from Belgium, from Greece, from Spain, have met during one or even all of the encounters, and the meeting was with people that already had initiatives and activities over the longer period relating to walking art, most of them in rural or natural areas, and we're working with local communities. So as a place of return, as a place of meeting and return, Prespa became symbolical for the WALC project as a form of a home, and the decision to have at the same time a global and local project with a physical place as an center for walking arts, international center for walking arts and research for walking arts. It became, let's say, a form of our home, the Prespa area. But extending, Prespa is at the same time a lake, but it's also a mirror to more than the people that have initiated a walk, and that's also one of our main objectives is to get more organizations, more collectives, more artists like Anne did in the United States already, and Modi in Australia, having movements join what ripples out of Prespa.
Okay, we will have another 5 minutes. I will answer in the questions that are in the chat. Andrew has already given an answer to Jeffrey about Julia Hoffman and many locals. I think that you can address any question about this to Aspasia as well, who will be coordinating. Something is saying about the her coming from Italy. You remember something that we found a way to bring you. And hostel accommodation. We have to say that there was a very sad incident that the place where we were hosted was burned, so it is not functioning any this year. But without promising, I think that we will find a solution to replace that in one way or another. You know, that's the other thing is that there was an amazing support for what happened, both psychologically and administratively. I don't know if we will be ready by the summer to have it ready, but definitely we are doing our best effort, and we will let you know, Tams. Because our project is about meeting people, so we do all our best to make it as much easier for as many people as possible. We decided that we will not bring, let's say, 5 artists that create an audience around them, but having all of us being both artists, creators, and audience. So in order to share things. And one thing that I have to say is that all these years, the 70–80% of those who come stay almost the entire period or the entire period. How can artists, participants engage the landscape community and lead activities? So in that question, very good question, as Jeffrey asked and Ralph observes, what we will do, this is why I spoke about the maps. Once people get accepted, we will have as many sessions as needed to introduce you to the specific places, to maybe give you our opinion about where the projects will be better implemented for those who have never been there, and discuss with people like Nikos, let's say, who are from the place and will give to your project the overview that you want. Okay, I think that was the last question. Andrew is also speaking about Tiger Bay wetlands, and he has in the chat a link that we can visit. So I think that this is with that we end our a great discussion. Thank you for staying us, almost all of you, during the entire period. And let's meet in the wetlands now of Prespa next time. But and we will also have more events between now and then with our conferences, with our cafes that WLC and Andrew and Babak and Geert are organizing. And of course, feel free to ask any questions, and we will make as many meetings as needed in order to make one feel comfortable that they will have a creative time both living well and also being able to develop their work. Thank you very much for being with us. And thank you, Andrew, for organizing it so well as always. And see you in the near future. And if we have inspired you enough, apply.